Hello, I'm Joe. I'm here at the Riverside Barbecue School, and today we're making maple glazed hot smoked salmon. We've got this beautiful and enormous piece of Loch Duart salmon. What we're going to do is knock up a maple glaze with some soy sauce, some lime, some garlic. It's not really from any particular part of the world, it's just nice flavours that we know will work with the fish. We're going to smoke it low and slow on the Traeger Ironwood 885 over here, and because they make the very finest of bedfellows, we'll serve that with some Traeger roasted potatoes at the end. Let's get cooking. Right, before we do anything with this beautiful piece of salmon, we will put together our glaze. It's very simple. We've got some pure Canadian maple syrup here. We're going to go in with a couple of tablespoons I should say, of soy sauce. I'm just eyeballing this, but do feel free to measure if you like. I'm doing this based on the ratios I know suit my tastes. I've got a couple of limes here to juice. If you like your glazes, marinades, etc. very salty, then you can add a bit more salt. Obviously the soy sauce brings its own level of salination, so I'm not going to add any. And of course what you can do is leave it to whoever's eating at the end to add their own salt when you serve. These tubes of garlic, the Gia one that you can find in most supermarkets, are really good. Obviously feel free to crush some fresh garlic if you like. I didn't have any to hand, I did have some of this. And some just went flying. So, 4 ingredients. All I'm going to do is just whisk them together. What you can do is do this up to 24 hours in advance. Put this on the fish, leave it in the fridge. It will slightly sort of cure it, but obviously those flavours will penetrate nicely into the meat. So, let's get it on. So you can hear the Ironwood 885 chugging away in the background as that preheats. We've got it set to 100 degrees Celsius on super smoke. So it'll have a nice slow cook, come up to temperature gently, get all of that lovely fat kind of broken down. And obviously with the super smoke mode switched on, we'll pack it full of delicious smoky flavour. What I'm going to do is just take our whisked glaze. Obviously I've had to go for a big gastro pan to do this, but if you've got a smaller piece of salmon, just do it in a dish with sides so you don't get your glaze everywhere. And I'm just going to pour this on. And I've got the trusty Traeger brush here. Just make sure you've got good coverage everywhere. And we're not actually going to cook the salmon in this gastro pan. I've got this piece of greaseproof paper here underneath. What we're going to do is put the fish skin side down on that, put it on the grill, and what that does is mean you don't have to fight with a spatula or a fish slice or anything and risk the fish falling apart. You can just move it around using the greaseproof paper. So that is nicely covered. We'll wait for the grill to heat up and get cooking. We've got the Ironwood up to temperature now. As I said earlier on, it's at 100 degrees Celsius with super smoke mode switched on. We're using pecan pellets today. That'll go really nicely with the fish. So what I'm going to do is take it out of this tray, put it onto the greaseproof paper, open the lid with my little finger that's not contaminated, and then, as I said earlier on, the benefit of having it on the paper is that you can just move it really easily without any trouble. I've washed my hands off, and all I'm going to do is take this glaze, put it back in the bowl here, and then periodically we'll open the lid, check on the salmon, give it a brush, and that glaze should start to set, and as that happens it obviously gets stickier, and then you brush more on, so you should end up with a nice thick, slightly dark glaze over the flesh of the fish by the end. It's been about 40 minutes now. I'm going to check, just take an internal temperature. It won't be ready yet, but it's always a good idea to know roughly where you are, because then that'll dictate how frequently you check it from now. And I'm also going to brush a little bit more of this glaze on. Let's have a look. Well, the salmon's had about 90 minutes now. I obviously took the temperature after about 45 minutes, just to give me an idea of where I was. I've glazed it numerous times. I've been checking it throughout the course of the cook. We're at 58 degrees Celsius internal now in the thickest part. If you want to be absolutely certain that you're safe, go to 63. You can take it off a little before that and rest it, and it should carry on climbing in temperature until you hit that 63. Obviously there's a thinner part and a thicker part, so the thinner part will be a little bit more cooked than the thicker part. So all that remains is to take that off. I've got some potatoes cooking on the Ranger behind me. Put them on this board, serve them to our nearest and dearest, and tuck in. Thank you as ever for tuning in. It's not really been a hard and fast recipe video, just more to hopefully give you some inspiration for things that you can cook. As ever, just adapt to suit your own tastes. If you've enjoyed the video, please give us a like or a thumbs up down below. If you'd like to see more of this kind of thing, leave us a comment and please subscribe to the channel. See you next time.